Congratulations! You finally achieved the quintessential American dream, being exactly one missed paycheck away from living in your car, which, let's be real, is currently just a mobile storage unit for your poor life choices. You have a degree you don't use, a 72-month financing plan on a ceramic-coated SUV that has never seen a dirt road but identifies as outdoorsy because it once drove over a particularly aggressive speed bump at a Whole Foods, and enough credit card reward points to fly to Hawaii, if only you had enough room left on your limit to actually pay for a hotel that doesn't have bed bugs. I'm Grant, and this is Money with Grant. You're what the banks call a model citizen, which is just a polite corporate way of saying you're a high-functioning debt slave with a great LinkedIn headshot. But don't feel bad. Being broke is the new normal. In fact, with total U.S. household debt climbing past $17 trillion, if you're currently sweating your bank balance while waiting for your direct deposit to hit like a thirsty man in a desert looking at a mirage of a Gatorade, you're finally fitting in with the neighbors. But here's the terrifying truth. The normal middle-class life is a carefully constructed trap designed to keep you working until you're 85, fueled by $7 lattes and the desperate, delusional hope that Social Security won't be a 404 error page by the time you need it. Most people will never escape this cycle. But today, I'm going to give you the exit key. There is one specific, game-changing secret, a single number actually, that determines if you'll retire a millionaire or die at your desk while trying to figure out how to PDF a document without crying. Let's talk about Joe. Joe is our financial crash test dummy. Joe is doing well. He makes $75,000 a year, which makes him feel like a titan of industry compared to the median. He's got the Apple Watch, the Patagonia vest, and a LinkedIn profile that claims he's an account solutions architect, which is just corporate speak for I send emails about having more meetings to talk about the emails I sent. But if Joe stopped working for exactly 3 weeks, his entire life would fold faster than a cheap lawn chair in a hurricane. Joe is a victim of what I call the standard U.S. upgrade path. It starts at 22. Joe graduates with $40,000 in student loans, a lovely parting gift from an institution that taught him more about 14th century pottery than how to avoid a 24% APR. He tells himself it's good debt because a guy in a suit on a brochure told him so. Then he gets his first real job. He's tired of driving his 2010 Honda Civic that smells like old French fries and regret, so he treats himself to a $45,000 luxury sedan. After all, he's a professional now. He can't show up to the office in a car that requires a physical key like some medieval peasant. Drop a guilty in the comments right now if you've ever bought something just because your ego couldn't handle your old stuff anymore. Go ahead, confess your financial sins. We're all friends here, except for the IRS. They're definitely in the comments section taking notes. Now, let's look at the math, because numbers don't care about Joe's aesthetic. The average new car payment in America has surged past $730 a month. Joe is a proud contributor to this statistic. He's basically a walking, talking stimulus package for Visa and MasterCard. He's their employee of the month, and he doesn't even get the reserved parking spot. Between that car, his $450 student loan, and a modest apartment that eats up 40% of his take-home pay, Joe is left with peanuts. But Joe wants to live, so he puts the Uber Eats, the $120 gym membership he uses once a month, and those $15 craft cocktails on his Chase Sapphire card. Because, hey, I'm earning points, Grant. I'm basically getting this for free. No, Joe. You're paying 27% interest for the privilege of having a lukewarm burrito delivered to your door by a guy named Kyle. Joe is committing financial suicide by 1,000 cuts through something called lifestyle creep. He's not building wealth, he's just experiencing hedonic adaptation, the scientific term for why that new iPhone felt like a spiritual awakening for 3 days, and now it's just a cracked screen rectangle that reminds him he's over-leveraged. The middle-class trap is insidious because it's comfortable. It's what Charlie Munger meant when he said, "The world is not driven by greed, it's driven by envy." Joe doesn't actually want to be rich, he just wants to look richer than his brother-in-law, Dave. And Dave is also broke, but Dave just financed a jet ski for 180 months at a rate that should be illegal. so now Joe feels like a loser. This is the Diderot Effect in action, where buying one new thing makes you feel like you need to upgrade your entire life to match your new vibe that you can't actually afford. But wait, it gets dumber. Joe hears about the 401k and decides to invest $100 a month. He thinks he's the next Warren Buffett. Meanwhile, he's carrying a $10,000 balance on a credit card. Joe is trying to fill a bucket with a massive hole in the bottom while using a teaspoon. He's celebrating an 8% gain in the stock market while paying 27% to a bank in South Dakota. The math is mathing in the wrong direction, Joe. You're literally burning your furniture to keep the house warm while the bank builds a new skyscraper with your ashes. The system relies on you believing that debt is a utility, like water or electricity. It's not. Debt is a thief that breaks into your future, steals your labor, and sells it back to you with a convenience fee attached. A recent study found that Americans believe they need to earn over $280,000 a year to be happy. But happiness isn't a salary, it's a margin. If you make $300,000 and spend $310,000 trying to impress people you don't even like, you are just a high-earning peasant with more expensive ulcers. If you make $50,000 and spend $35,000, you are a king. So, how do you avoid being Joe? How do you break the cycle? It starts with embracing the weird. If you want what normal people don't have, you have to do what normal people are too embarrassed to do. Normal people buy new cars. You buy a 5-year-old Toyota that looks like a kitchen appliance and drive it until the wheels literally fall off in the Costco parking lot. Normal people see a credit card limit as spending power. You see it as a high-voltage electric fence you shouldn't touch unless you want your credit score to smell like burnt toast. The secret to escaping the middle-class trap isn't a crypto moonshot or selling AI-generated pictures of your feet. It's the gap. The gap is the space between your ego and your income. I promised you a game-changing secret at the beginning. The most important number in your life is your days to survival. If you stopped working today, right this second, how many days could you maintain your current lifestyle before you're eating cold beans out of a can while your neighbors wonder why your lawn is turning into a botanical garden of weeds? For 40% of Americans, that number is 0. For the truly wealthy, that number is infinity. Your goal isn't to be rich so you can buy a gold toilet. Your goal is to be indifferent. Indifferent to layoffs, indifferent to the economy, and completely indifferent to what Dave thinks of your 2016 Camry while he's crying over his jet ski repo notice. When you have 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account and a portfolio of low-cost index funds compounding while you sleep, you aren't just normal anymore, you're a glitch in the matrix. If you're still watching this, you're already ahead of the 90% of people who clicked off to watch a Shein haul of clothes that will disintegrate in the washing machine. You have the attention span required to actually build wealth. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. If you don't change your normal habits, you're just a very well-informed broke person. If you're not subscribed to Money with Grant, you're basically opting in to stay trapped in the middle-class cycle while everyone else learns how to manipulate the system to their advantage. You can keep keeping up with the Joneses, or you can eventually buy the Joneses' house at a foreclosure auction. Personally, I'm a fan of the second option. It has much better ROI. Before you go, I want to hear from you. We're planning our next deep dive, and we want you to pick the curriculum for your financial escape room. Option A, the house poor epidemic, while your 3,000-square-foot dream home is actually a nightmare for your net worth. Or option B, the 401k lie, is your employer-sponsored plan actually a tax trap designed to keep you working forever? Drop an A or a B in the comments. I read every single one of them, mostly to see who's triggered by my comments about their car payments. See you in the next one, or I won't. Your bank account won't care, but you definitely will when you're 70 and still asking people if they want to size up their meal for $1.